Danielle Diana Dubem minus YUL EDOCHIE. You know, back then she would have included Diana Dubem EDOCHIE or Danielle EDOCHIE, Danielle YUL EDOCHIE. The YUL is for you to know who a father is. That's how it rolls, because there are a lot of EDOCHIEs. So it's a smart approach to include your father's first name and then, you know, like link it together with the surname, so they know whose daughter or son you are. Person where God call. You know, YUL EDOCHIE said God called him. He gave us that story when he returned back from, you know, how Saul was on his way back after persecution and all of those things that he did to Christians, Christ followers. He was on his way back from Damascus. And then they said a flashing light struck him down. He became blind and he heard a voice, Saul, 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 why persecutest thou me? And Saul said, who are you? Who art thou? I am that I am. I am Yeshua. I am Jesus Christ that you EDOCHIE, you have been persecuting. And from today onwards, we have to change identity. Your name is no longer Saul. Your name will be called Paul. Well, YUL EDOCHIE gave us this vibe back then, and there are some that fell for it, some wanted it. In fact, YUL EDOCHIE was so happy. He said his father had congratulated him and even called him and said, this is good. At least fulfill destiny this way. Now, that was when, you know, things were getting very, very dirty for YUL EDOCHIE. Things were so bad, things were so tight. He had to leave Enugu. He had to relocate to the middle belt, the middle of Nigeria. That's Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. He came in saying that the hurricane, the tsunami, and the earthquake has arrived at Abuja. He drove in, and we heard stories of how YUL EDOCHIE wanted to get, you know, electronics, equipment, and whatever it is that he needs to put in his home to continue doing skits. He couldn't get it because his card had nothing there. He wanted to say, okay, you know what, just give it to me, I'll pay you. That didn't work. You all remember that story. And slowly, YUL EDOCHIE became a realtor. He made a mockery of himself there by posting settled deals that had nothing to do with him. He's not even like a partner. If you were a partner, then it would have been a different thing. Moreover, you cannot take credit for someone else's business or job. No, not at all. Well, let us leave that aside. So Daniel wrote that person where God call, don't call himself back, as he no see offering and tithe scam. You claim it's love over material things, yet you use 3 weeks celebrate toy. Let us pause. So, like I said earlier, YUL EDOCHIE was broke at that time. He was broke. He didn't have money. He didn't have money at all. He was being dragged right, left, and center. Sarah Martins was also dragging him. And he wasn't able to keep that face, that expression that everything is fine. Everything came like a crumbling block upon him. But this guy kept on like holding on all through this. And I said, okay, this pastor thing, let's see if this guy will focus on it and concentrate on it. Let's see, maybe he can do this online ministry. And let's see what he has inside of him. He started with this motivational thing, but the demons inside of him could not continue. They could not even help him to maintain fake ministry. The demons inside of him were so strong. And don't forget that he had this thing within him. He wants to be a politician. So he's like, I want to be a governor. How? I have sacrificed enough now. So these people should just allow me to become governor. If I begin to give them the vibes that I'm now a man of God, They might not call me anymore. They might not help me anymore. Am I making mistakes with this? So it continued. It started. People really came to listen to YUL EDOCHIE, started talking. But the problem is this: the kind of life that YUL EDOCHIE lived and is living cannot correlate. It could not correlate with what is preaching. How can you preach when you announce that polygamy is now the way of life for you? And you know, Christians are conservative. Now, not saying that polygamy is a thing that you don't find in the scriptures or in the Bible. People can engage in polygamy if it works for them. But the thing is, you now went about it in a bad way, in a terrible way. How then can you preach and teach about love and talk about God's love and talk about, I mean, all the things that came out of his mouth didn't match it. If you only went into polygamy and it didn't work and you are where you are, okay, it started with God does not use things that are smooth, things that are already prepared. He brings things that have issues within it to, he will beautify it, he will break it down, recreate it, and then use it for himself. He started talking that way, which sounded nice to a lot of people. Then, like, okay, then other things could not match because conscience will prick you at the end of the day. Before we know, he did one Sunday, 2, 3, 4. The next, he said he is busy. Then church closed. He started again not so long ago. And he stopped again. You claimed it's love over material things, yet you use 3 weeks to celebrate toy. In your next, you go look well before you snatch, because even if you RIP now, your spirit no go still roam near that mansion. Now, even if it is not Danielle that wrote this directly, because some people are like, no, it's not Danielle that wrote this. She has already issued a disclaimer to this effect that she will not. Who says she can't? Do you know how difficult it is for her to express herself using her official handle? She can as well create another handle on her name and use it and say, look, listen, since daddy is behaving in a crazy way and I cannot express myself, I can express myself with another handle. And I will go on my own original handle and say, so it is not me. I am not part of this shenanigan. And she can go to this place, express her thought, express herself, and say what she needs to say. Daddy will be confused. Like, who is writing this? The day she removed EDOCHIE from her name, brought it back, removed it, that's when I knew. I knew immediately that this lady has something to say, and she has to say it anyhow, somehow. She's not going to protest only by changing name. She's going to get something to help her put out all of this frustration inside of her. And she could through this. Yes, very easy. Daddy has misbehaved. So what's she going to cover up? So the thing about the toy is the SUV. You all know the story of the SUV, how YUL EDOCHIE presented with Judy Austin SUV for their child, the same color, the same model that Mary bought. And they said one auntie in the US is the one that bought this. So it will not appear like they are the ones that intended for this to be like a kind of ridicule to Mary, but it's a gift. But you know how the rest of the matter, how the story ended. The person that supplied it, the toy shop, had to tag herself or himself to whatever it is, and Justin did not respond back. Like, who sent you? Why did you have to do that? Anyway, it could be auntie also, because it will cost a little bit more to give that boy that kind of toy, and I don't think YUL EDOCHIE wants to. I mean, he can use and give it to his brother, but I don't think YUL EDOCHIE wants to do that. No, at this point, at this time, no, YUL EDOCHIE needs more money to take care of, and needs much more than buying a toy. No, not at all.